Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the social science behind making virtual collaboration actually work, especially now with AI and extended reality, or XR, completely changing the game. We're going to look past the gadgets and get to the human blueprint. All right, let's just dive right in with a question I think we've all felt at some point. With all these amazing digital tools we have, why do so many of us still feel, well, kind of disconnected? Can a virtual office ever really truly feel real? See, on one side, we are drowning in text connections, right? We've got email, Slack, Zoom, the list goes on and on. But on the other side, you've got what actually makes a team great, that feeling of cohesion, deep trust, and a genuine sense of belonging. The real trick is how you bridge that gap. So where do we start? Well, the solution begins at the most basic, fundamental level, creating the simple feeling of actually being together. And to get our heads around that, we need to talk about something called social presence theory. Social presence is pretty much what it sounds like. It's that gut feeling that you are truly with another real person, even if you're 1,000 miles apart. Now, this isn't just some nice, fluffy, feel-good idea. This is the absolute core goal of technologies like VR and AR. So how do you actually engineer that feeling? Well, it all comes down to specific tech features. We're talking about expressive avatars that can copy your smile, realistic eye contact and gestures, and spatial audio so you hear someone's voice coming from where they are in the room. These aren't just cool bells and whistles. They are the literal building blocks that make our coworkers feel real and, well, legible to our brains. Okay, so you've laid the foundation. People feel like they're actually together. What's the next step? This is where you can start to build something way more powerful, a genuine team identity. And for that, we turn to social identity theory. You know, at its heart, this theory is really simple. It just says that a huge piece of who you think you are comes from the groups you're a part of. Your family, your favorite sports team, and, you guessed it, your team at work. When that group identity is strong, our own personal goals just naturally start to line up with the team's goals. And this is where it all clicks into place. This shows the whole path, from plugging in the tech to getting real results. It's like a chain reaction. First, XR tech creates social presence. That feeling of being together helps build a real team identity, that sense of we. That shared identity then makes it way easier to share knowledge and cooperate, which, at the end of the day, leads to way better work. This brings us to a really cool idea. Start thinking of everything in your virtual space as identity infrastructure. Seriously, the avatars people pick, where they sit around a virtual table, the digital whiteboards you use, every single little choice either helps build up that team identity or starts to tear it down. And this really is the big takeaway for any manager or leader thinking about this stuff. It's not about just buying the headsets. It's about being intentional. You have to design virtual workplaces that are identity affirming, spaces that constantly reinforce that feeling that we are in this together. Okay, so we've got our team, they feel present, they feel connected. Now we get to the really exciting part, how we can actually upgrade the work itself. And that's all thanks to AI. To understand this, we need to look at something called job crafting theory. Job crafting is this awesome idea that we aren't just stuck with the jobs we're given. We can actively reshape and mold them to be more meaningful. And AI co-pilots? They're like a massive superpower for this. They handle all the boring, routine stuff, which frees us humans up to focus on what we do best. And here's the playbook for how it actually works. It's all about breaking down the tasks. You let the AI handle things like summarizing notes, writing first drafts, or sorting through data. And that lets the human team members craft their jobs around the stuff that really matters: high-level strategy, creative thinking, and building those critical client relationships. But hang on. For this whole high-tech, high-performing system to actually function, it needs a kind of social operating system. There are two essential human rules that have to be in place to make all the rest of it possible. The first one, and this is the absolute non-negotiable, is psychological safety. This is simply the belief, shared across the whole team, that it's okay to take risks. It's feeling safe enough to voice a crazy idea, to experiment, to fail, and yeah, even to question what an AI is telling you, all without fearing you're going to get punished for it. Without this, the whole thing falls apart. The second big rule is all about managing immersion. I mean, the whole point of XR is that it's immersive, but it turns out you can have too much of a good thing. Research shows it's a total Goldilocks situation. Too little immersion, and you lose that feeling of presence. But too much, and you get cognitive overload and fatigue. The goal is to find what's just right. And this is exactly where those two rules, safety and immersion, click together. When a team feels psychologically safe, people are comfortable enough to say, hey, I need a break from the headset. It's what allows them to openly critique an AI's output. It enables what some researchers call strategic, dose-based immersion, where the team itself can manage its own energy for the long run. So when you put this all together, what's the big idea we're left with? It's that building a truly successful virtual workplace isn't really about buying the latest, greatest tech. It's about using that tech to intentionally, thoughtfully design for human connection, all based on a blueprint from decades of social science. And all of that really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. As all this tech becomes more and more a part of our lives, you have to ask, is your organization just building a virtual space? Or are you actually building a virtual team?